Welcome to my channel. Now today is a very hot day here in Northern Virginia, and I just couldn't go to sleep last night because it's so hot. So I was kind of thinking about some of the things that I wanted to talk about in my YouTube videos, and I thought about talking about some of the things that I wish that I knew before I had a hair transplant. So as you guys know, my channel is going to be dedicated to help those who are considering getting a hair transplant, so that I can better equip them with the knowledge that I've learned through my experience of getting my own hair transplantation. So let's get started. Alright, so number one, I wish that I knew that the technicians did most, if not all of the actual hair graft implantation, and that some of the technicians might actually be in various stages of training, which might put you as a guinea pig. You know, had I known this, I would have asked more questions and researched on doctors who actually did or take part in the implantation. Although the hair transplant doctor, they do the donor extraction via FUE, or if you do a strip, they're going to excise the strip by themselves. Most clinics are going to have technicians who are going to be doing the actual implantation. So when I actually went to get my hair transplant done in South Korea, I was under the impression that the doctor would do everything from start to finish, from extracting the donor area and then actually implanting the hairs, because when it comes to implanting the hairs, there's so many variables that you have to be careful of. There's direction. You want to make sure to use nape hair for the hairline to make it look more natural, and you also want to place the correct number of grafts. For example, if you're doing the frontal hairline, you want to put in single grafts in the front of the hairline, and then as you progress back further, you want to reinforce it with 2 hair grafts and 3 hair grafts. In my case, I actually had 2 technicians who did all of the implanting, and honestly, there's no way to verify if they actually had years of experience on the job. And just the fact that the doctor wasn't present during the actual hair implantation got me a little bit uneasy. Had I known this, I would have gone to, or at least researched for, a clinic where the doctor would have at least overseen some of the actual hair implantation, because you want to make sure you want to have the proper graft orientation, and you also want to minimize any potential risk of losing hair grafts. And so it's not really a mistake, but I guess it's more of an experience that you guys can learn from. And make sure to ask the right questions when you get your consultation. Ask how much work that the doctor actually does during the hair implantation. Ask about the technicians. Ask about number of years of experience that they've actually had. How often do they work, and so on and so forth. Okay, number 2, I wish that I need to grow my frontal hair a bit longer before getting my hair transplant. Now, as you guys know, there's really no good way to disguise your hair transplant. And in one of my previous videos, I talked about some of the ways that you guys can disguise your hair transplant by, wearing a hat or a beanie, growing out your hair, or by applying some type of cosmetics. But for the first couple months, the recipient area is going to be really red and noticeable. And this is based on my own experience, but it depends on each person. But from the videos that I've seen on YouTube, I feel like the majority of the people are going to have persistent redness for at least a couple months. And there's really no good way for me to cover that for the past 2 to 3 months of having my hair transplant. So luckily, I actually had my hair transplant done in November of 2016. So it was during winter time, and wearing a beanie or hat to work really didn't raise any red flags because it was already cold. Had I known that the redness was going to persist for over a couple months, I wouldn't have cut my hair short. I would have actually grown it out quite a bit so that I can cover the hairline and disguise the hair transplant. And then once the redness subsides, then I can cut down my hair to a shorter length. But obviously, if you don't mind other people knowing about your hair transplant, this really won't apply to you. But I feel like the majority of the people who end up getting hair transplants want to keep it confidential. And from experience, the best way to disguise the redness is to grow out your hair prior to getting a hair transplant. Number 3, while getting a hair transplant abroad in countries such as India, South Korea, Turkey, etc. can be cheaper, it can also be really inconvenient when it comes to trying to get a hold of your doctor. It can be due to lack of communication, the time difference, the language barrier, just for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just inconvenient to be able to reach out to your doctor. And so I also didn't know about the free touch-up that my doctor gave out. If I ever do needed to go out and get a second, hair transplant or a touch-up, I would actually have to pay over $1,000 just for flights, and then pay extra money for the accommodations, just so that I can get a touch-up. So, if you guys are looking to get a hair transplant, make sure to ask your doctor what their policy is when it comes to getting touch-ups if you're not fully satisfied after a year. Now, if I ever do end up getting a second hair transplant, I think I'm just going to look for a doctor in the US. I think it's going to be easier for me to communicate, and there's plenty of good doctors here in the US. Now, it might be a little bit more pricey than looking for a doctor abroad, but finding a doctor in the US, in my case, I think would be a lot more easier for me to access a doctor. And if I do end up needing to get a hair transplant or a touch-up, then I can just simply, drive for a few hours or take the plane, get whatever work that I need to get done. All right, number 4, this last one can probably save you guys some money, or if not, even get you a free hair transplant. If you guys don't mind sharing your experience of getting your hair transplant by posting it on social media, such as YouTube or whatever form of social media, to promote the work of your doctor, there's a good chance that your doctor might give you a discount or even give you a hair transplant for free. So make sure to ask what the policy is for that. I've actually had a lot of requests because of my YouTube videos from various companies, hair product companies, that wanted me to do some type of sponsorship so that I can promote their products. It's all about just asking your doctor. And in my case, I'm actually not getting promoted from the hair transplant that I went to, but I do know that there's a lot of doctors who actually are willing to give you discounts if you show them your progress, because if you look on YouTube, there's not a lot of people who post up their daily results of getting a hair transplant done. A lot of people don't really like to show their results to the public. But if you don't mind, then you can always partner up with the clinic that you worked with and document your hair progress from start to finish. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. If you guys can add on to the list, then feel free to leave some comments below so that other people can know about it. As always, thank you very much for being very supportive. And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.